It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview Kelly Komara, who is the Associate Women's Vanderbilt Head Coach. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Brandon.
Can you talk about your coaching experience and how you got started?
Sure. Growing up in Indiana, I always knew I wanted to coach. My father was a football coach, and I got to watch him from afar. And I knew eventually, when I got out of college, that would be something that I wanted to do. And majored in education, so that way I'd have an option if I wanted to coach high school. But obviously, coaching in college is kind of my passion, and always knew I wanted to do it.
Can you talk about coaching at Auburn and what that was like?
Yeah, so that was my first experience coaching. I was a graduate assistant. Nell Fortner got the job, and Nell Fortner was actually the coach that recruited me to play at Purdue. She left and went and coached the Olympic team, and then eventually ended up at Auburn and said, "Hey, you want to come get your master's?" And I said, "Sure, my playing career is done. I'll definitely get my master's with you." Um, and so I was there for 2 years as a graduate assistant, and absolutely loved it. It was a great program, a great university, a great time to be at Auburn. Um, and knew though that I wanted to coach. And I think being a grad assistant really either tells you, yes, this is for me, or no, this is not for me. And after being a grad assistant for 2 years, I knew it was something I wanted to do.
That's amazing. What was your time like at Northwestern in 2006 to 2007?
Yeah, so at Northwestern, what it really prepared me for was to be able to coach and recruit high academic players, and I didn't quite know at the time that that would later come up in my coaching career as it has now at Vanderbilt. But it's a different beast, coaching and recruiting players. That academics is their ultimate. You're coaching players that don't necessarily want to go pro for basketball. They want to be doctors and lawyers, and so your recruiting is different. Your coaching style is a little bit different, and so I think Northwestern really prepared me to coach at a high academic school.
What was your experience like at Purdue?
Yeah, so playing at Purdue, I'm from Indiana. I played high school ball in Indiana. Knew I wanted to stay fairly close to home, and I got to play at Purdue for 4 years. And 2 out of the 4 years I played, we were in the national championship game. So my freshman year, we won the national championship. My junior year, we lost by 2 points to Notre Dame. So, getting a chance to represent your university, your family and friends being able to see you play was huge and important for me. And then little did I know, years down the road, that I'd eventually be able to be blessed to become a coach there. And so I got to coach for Purdue for 2 years. Never in my wildest dreams did I think I would leave. I wanted to coach there forever. I loved it. I was by family. And then my best friend got the head coaching job at Vanderbilt. So I took the leap down here to the South again.
Can you talk about, of course, what it was like coaching at your alma mater, Purdue?
Yeah. So one of the easiest things about coaching at your alma mater is it's easy to recruit, right? You know the ins and outs of the university, you know the academics, you know the athletic department. So any questions that recruits or parents would ever have, I've experienced it all. So I was easy to recruit. It's easy to, especially when you love it. And I loved my 4 years. So it's easy to recruit to a place that you love. So I think that was the first part of the job that I really enjoyed. But the second part is just there's something about coaching in a place that you played. And for me, I'm a very loyal, kind of passionate person when it comes to basketball. And I loved Purdue. I loved everything about it. My 4 years were fantastic. And so then sitting on the bench again in a different capacity, but sitting on the bench again in Mackey Arena was truly special. It was very, very cool.
Can you talk about what you've accomplished at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, so we got the job here. This is year 5. We took over a program that was struggling. Now, Vanderbilt in years past, in the early 2000s, was very, very good. I mean, we're talking Sweet 16s and very good programs. And it had kind of fallen on some hard times. And so when we got the job, it was pretty much building from scratch, right? So recruiting had to be completely revamped, and we just had to look at the program and really run it the way that Coach Stephanie White wanted to run it. And we didn't have, at the time, the players to run the system that we wanted. We are a pro style system. We run what the Denver Nuggets, the Boston Celtics will run. So it's not for everybody. And Vanderbilt isn't for everybody. Vanderbilt is very high academic and high athletic. So you got the best of both worlds. You're not only playing in the SEC, but you're also going to school at one of the best schools in the entire country. So we've had our challenges. But I think each year that we've been here, we've seen progress. And any coach will tell you all you want is for your players to continuously get better. You want your players to get better, and you want your recruits to get better. And I think through the 5 years that we've been here, we've seen both of those happen.
Can you talk about, of course, your time playing for the Indiana Fever, the women's NBA?
So Brandon, this is probably a great story. You're going to love this one. So I got drafted to the Indiana Fever, and I was at training camp, and it was the practice before the first exhibition game. So I hadn't put on a jersey yet, right? Hadn't put on a jersey. And it's shoot around. We're in Phoenix, and there's a loose ball on the floor. Now I'm fighting for a job, right? So this is, you got to go all out. It doesn't matter if it's shoot around. And I run right at that loose ball, and another player runs at the loose ball, and we collided heads. And I ended up breaking my face, which is an incredible story in itself. But so I shattered my skull. I broke this bone right here, and it was an orbital fracture. So I had to have surgery to put 2 titanium plates in my face. So my time with the Fever was cut short, which was okay because it was a blessing. And I was able to go play overseas, which was an absolute fantastic experience.
Can you talk about, of course, your time overseas playing?
Yeah, so I went to Athens, Greece. A teammate of mine, Katie Douglas, was a player in Greece, and I had an agent that was also her agent, and he said, "Why don't you go to Greece?" And I said, "Sure. If they're going to pay me to play, I'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter." And of course, this was the time before FaceTime and truly using Skype and the internet and all that stuff. I mean, we're talking like bag phones and pagers still. So you didn't have access to your family like you do now. And I told myself, I can remember vividly flying over the city of Athens and telling myself, you are going to stay. It doesn't matter what happens. You're not a quitter. You're not going to come over here and be like all those other Americans that just left at Christmas and went home because they were homesick. Like, you're going to stick this out. And I did, and I loved it. I immersed myself in the culture. The people were great. Our team was great. My year in Athens was something I will never forget.
Can you talk about your time playing for the Grand team?
Yeah, so it was the NWBA, so it's kind of like the minor leagues of the WNBA, and there was a team in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and it's the coldest place on earth, and I spent a couple of months playing in the NWBL, and what was really cool about that league is that there's a lot of names that people would go, oh, they played in that, and Becky Hammon played in that league. Kelly and Coco Miller from Georgia played in that league. I mean, we had stars all over playing in that league because a lot of people didn't want to go overseas. They just wanted to stay, and that was another opportunity to play when the WNBA season wasn't going. So had a great time playing there. It would have been nice, though, to play in, like, I don't know, Fort Lauderdale or Miami, but Grand Rapids, Michigan it was, and that was fine. And, it's like playing in the minor leagues, and you stay in the worst hotels and you eat at buffets, and, it just is what it is, but you play because you love it.
What is the recruitment process like at Vanderbilt for the women's program?
Yeah, so we're blessed to be able to recruit nationally, and we have kids from all over the country and all over the world. We've got a player right now from Denmark who's here playing with us. Last year we had a player from Greece. So we recruit internationally, but the best thing about Vanderbilt is it sells itself, right? So if you're somebody that's going, oh, where should I go? And you talk to your guidance counselor, you talk to a family friend, and you say, yeah, Vanderbilt's recruiting me. Well, they're all automatically going to go, oh, wow, that's a great school. Just the word of mouth recognition of the school is something that's important. But the other piece of that is the athletics. So we have a new athletic director, Dr. Candace Lee, became the first Black female athletic director in the SEC this past year, which is huge, right? Because, we recruit to all families and all players, all races, all of that. And to see somebody in a high position that looks like you, that has played basketball at Vanderbilt and is now an SEC athletic director, those things are really important. And so we try to not only sell the academic part, but what you can do with the education that you get, right? It's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision. The ball is going to stop bouncing at some point. You've got to have something to back it up.
That's amazing. What is the recruitment process like on the official visit?
Yeah, so an official visit, so usually on an official visit, we can pay for everything. Now, obviously with the pandemic, no recruiting is going on right now, but under normal circumstances, an official visit, we would fly family to Nashville. We would be able to take them out to dinner. We would pay. They would stay in a hotel. We would pay. It's basically like they get a free trip for 48 hours to come to Nashville. And we show them everything. We show them everything from the athletic department to where they're going to stay, the dorms, take them around, show them around campus, show them where maybe their classes will be. We like to sometimes have a recruit actually attend a class with one of our current players. Now, obviously that can't happen right now, but, to really get a feel what it's like an intimate campus like Vanderbilt. I mean, you're talking about 12,000 students as opposed to a Georgia, Florida, a major school like that's got 50,000 and we've got 12. So really selling it on, you're going to get a high quality education. You're going to meet a lot of people. And then the person sitting next to you and the person sitting next to you, they may be doctors, they may be lawyers, and then they can help you achieve what you want to achieve. So we really try and give a first look into practice, into what we do athletically, but also a day-to-day basis of what you'll do academically.
Can you talk about, of course, playing in the SEC, playing schools like Georgia and Florida?
Yeah, the SEC is no joke, right? So the SEC is probably, if not the best, one of the best conferences for college women's basketball. And, we prepare every game to the detail. Our scouting reports are down to very detailed things about each player on those teams, about each offense or defense that they run. And, for us, we are a team that strives to create chaos, right, on the defensive end, and we want to be just the aggressor. But day in and day out, you're playing South Carolina, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, and it's a tough conference. It's a tough league, but that's why you play teams in the non-conference to prepare you for the conference, because it is just so hard. But every year we're improving, we're moving up that ladder. And you look at the NCAA tournament, 7, 8, sometimes 9 teams from our conference makes it to the NCAA tournament, which says a lot for our conference.
That's amazing. Whenever it comes to, of course, the official visits before COVID, did they used to try on jerseys?
Yeah, so they'll always get a chance to, we call it a photo shoot. They get to put on their jersey and have a little photo shoot, and we have our photographers there. We got music playing, and really give them something to immerse them into the feel of being at Vanderbilt. And they always love the pictures. They post them on social, and they love them, and the parents get into it. They start getting in the pictures too. But we really try and recreate anything we possibly can to make them feel as much a part of our family as we possibly can. And that's what it is. That's what it boils down to is relationships, building that trust with the recruit early, because eventually they will be your family.
What advice would you give upcoming women's high school basketball players looking to get recruited?
Wow. So probably this year's advice is very different, I would say, than last year or even the year before's advice, just because of the circumstances. So typical advice: understand that college coaches aren't always looking for the person that scores the most points. We're not looking for the person that is the flashiest on the floor. We're looking for the little things. Do you high five your teammates? Do you have energy? Do you get excited when somebody else scores? What do you like on the bench? Are you engaged and paying attention to the coach? Or are you looking in the stands? And the biggest thing I think for any coach, whatever level it is does that player bring energy consistently? I think the hardest thing to coach is effort and energy. It is draining for a coach. It is hard to do. And if you can eliminate that, then you're now teaching skills and you're increasing a player's skill. So for us, I think energy and effort is the biggest thing we're looking for. Now, it's hard to see this year on film because that's all we have to watch is film that we get sometimes second, third hand that isn't great quality, and you can't always see the bench and those kind of things. So right now is a little bit different. So you're looking more for the minor details. Are they boxing out? Are they getting in a stance defensively? The things that you can't really see are hard to judge right now on film. You can't see energy. You can't see their facial expressions as much. So that's been difficult for us.
What advice would you have upcoming women's basketball coaches looking to get into the industry?
Yeah, I would just say be yourself. That's the most important thing. Don't try and be anybody else. Be yourself and be engaging. When we're recruiting, whenever we get to recruit again, and you're sitting next to another college coach, don't act like they don't exist. We're all human. Just have a conversation. You never know where that conversation will lead. I believe in helping each other out. I believe that if I'm running something offensively or defensively and another coach says, hey, that looks great, do you mind if I ask you some questions about it? Absolutely. Like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Let's all help each other out and help this sport grow. So to the young coaches out there, keep grinding, continue to be yourself, engage with other coaches on the road when you can. And then the biggest thing I would say in anything when it comes to coaching is just have high energy and show your passion for the game.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Vanderbilt women's basketball program at?
Yeah, so just Google Vanderbilt Athletics or vanderbiltathletics.com. And you can always reach me on social at Kelly Komara 3, Twitter, Instagram, any of that. You can find me. I'm not on TikTok. I am over 40, so that eliminates me from TikTok. I don't know anything about it. That's why we have younger members on our staff, so they can handle all the TikTok stuff. But yeah, or you can always just call our office, and I'd love to chat. So I'm an open book. I'm an open door policy. Anybody needs anything, I'm willing to help.
Thank you again, Coach Kelly, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming season.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brand, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Kelly, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thanks, Brandon. Take care.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.